Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins here with your 8 p.m. update for Hurricane Ian. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Hope you're doing pretty well. Hope you're kind of maybe sitting down, watch a little bit of football, chill out after a good day of work and probably finishing up your preps. We've got a good hurricane headed our way. It looks like it's going to get very, very close. It's still not set in stone where it goes. But look, this thing went from 60-mile-per-hour winds early this morning to 100 this afternoon. That classifies it as rapidly intensifying. And it looks like it's coming through Cuba tonight, and then it's going to be coming up into our neck of the woods as we get into late tomorrow night into Wednesday, especially on Wednesday. And it looks like it could slow down as it comes here as well, too. So let's talk all about it, and I'll take a look at your questions here as well, too. Let me get over here so make sure I can find that. Hopefully everybody's doing good tonight. Everybody's not too worried about this right now. I hope everybody's just really taking it serious more than anything else, because this could be certainly a formidable storm. We haven't seen, if you look at the track now, we haven't seen anything like this since 1921. 100 years ago, 101 years ago, the 1921 Tarpon Springs hurricane. It's already throwing rain our way. Now, I'd consider these down here, that's outer rain bands down here. You can see it spinning like that. This is moisture that got kind of pushed up into the area and helped develop the showers and storms when we heat it up. But obviously, all of this is coming northward. So here's the 8 p.m. update. And so at 8 o'clock, we get basically not a track update, but we'll get winds, movement, pressure, that kind of stuff, and watches and warnings. And really, there was no big change at all for most of that at the 8 o'clock update. So if you saw the 5, everything's very similar. If you haven't seen it, I mean, this is what we're looking at for Tuesday afternoon, 130-mile-per-hour winds. That goes to 140 by late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning as it's northwest of Key West, way out there, though. And then you see it starts to come down a little bit. Notice this weakening. And this would be tremendous if this happens, because a weakening system coming at you, you're not going to get as much wind, which is fantastic for us. But we're still going to get water. This thing's kicking up a lot of water when it's sitting out here, and it's blowing it all towards the coast, blowing it towards the coast, blowing it up into the bay. So right now, with the center coming in north of Tampa Bay, like the Hurricane Center forecast has, that is a storm surge storm for us. All right, that is not something we want to see. That is technically, but it's something that the Hurricane Center actually does mock drills on. They'll get emergency managers and meteorologists together and say, okay, here's the deal. We've got a Cat 3 moving northeast at 14 miles per hour with landfall near Tarpon Springs. So how do we handle that? What are our issues going to be? That's kind of how we practice, right? This is basically what we're looking at. I think the winds will be coming down as it gets a little bit closer, but storm surge is the issue. Very shallow shelf offshore here of the Tampa Bay area, the west central Florida, and that means that wind, when it pushes water, it's easy to push it up in there. And then it gets stuck up in the bay. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as we get going. So here you can see it does move further off to the north and then fall apart as it moves out over land. But I'm thinking Wednesday, Thursday, all the way through Thursday, and then Friday and Thursday night, things are starting to clear up a little bit. Remind you of anything? Here's the 1921 Tarpon Springs hurricane. And that was where we saw all of that, tremendous damage in the downtown Tampa area, right? And I think we'll see more surge in the northern part of the Tampa Bay if it takes that type of track, the track is forecast now, than what we would see out on the beaches, too. Plenty of watches and warnings, so let's get right down in here and talk about that. First of all, the purple that you see there at the top, that's a hurricane watch for Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus. Pinellas, Hillsborough, Manatee, and Sarasota, that is a hurricane warning. And that was issued at 5 o'clock. And what that means is that 48 hours from 5 o'clock tonight, we expect hurricane force winds in the area. At least hurricane gusts. Whether we get sustained, that's still left to be said, but hurricane gusts in this area for sure. The warning actually means sustained winds, but I'm thinking kind of gusts. But that would make it by not tonight, tomorrow night, but Wednesday night into Thursday, and maybe a little bit sooner. Polk, Hardy, DeSoto, Highlands County. It's a tropical storm warning. The highest winds are going to be right here along the coast and wherever that eye goes on shore. The further inland you go, the lower those winds will be. And it's not going to be there will be a lot of wind damage, but it's not going to be terrible. It's not going to, if it comes in like it's coming in now, surge is going to be the problem. We're talking 5 to 10 foot amount of surge, and those higher amounts are right up there in the northern part of the bay. All right, a little less down here. Now, that's if the center does what the Hurricane Center is saying, right? If it comes down here, that's blowing water out of the bay. Blowing water out of the bay. We'll have a negative surge, again, like what we had in Irma. So we still have to watch where this thing is going to go onshore. So while, let me come up here a little bit. We still have decent surge numbers up north. It's a surge watch for Pasco, Hernando, Citrus County, up into the Big Bend. There are higher numbers down here because the thinking is that it goes in somewhere here, and so that's where it would be putting more water into that area. So let me take you this. I want to show you this product that we have. What it is, it's a forecast that shows you basically what we think the storm surge could be, okay? This is from LSU, and what they do is they take the latest Hurricane Center forecast track, and then they run the model with that. So the Hurricane Center said that by the time we get into Thursday, about 10 in the morning, we've got 93 mile per hour winds out here around the center. And so it's pushing water up into the bay, right? You see that? So all of these areas where you see color, those are areas that should not have color on it. That's water. So look at Oldsmar. See Forest Lake Roads and Oldsmar. Guys, that's Tampa Road right there. Tampa Road and Racetrack Road, that intersection there near Lowe's, could have as much as 8 feet of water on top of the road. This is maximum inundation above ground. So this is a notoriously low area, but just look at the storm surge. Look at Rocky Point. This is down here in the east end of the Courtney Campbell. That's the line you're going across there. This whole area, Rocky Point, these areas in here, could be seeing what, 4, 5, 6 feet above the ground, right? That is a lot of storm surge. And certainly, I mean, if you look at Oldsmar, you know, right there, kind of the downtown part, it's getting closer to the land. That's not as bad, but you're still talking 4 to 6 foot away from the immediate coast at Oldsmar. But you get down to Orioles Park and areas like that, and you're talking almost 9 foot of surge in those areas. Now, East Lake Woodlands, that's all right in here, okay? And you can see we've got some water that's coming in that area too. That's going to be around the 2 to 4 foot range in that area. All right, so now what I'm going to do, because I know a lot of people are going to ask, what about my house? What about my house? I'm just going to kind of go along the coast here and just give you a couple of spots. The reason why we have evacuations that are being asked to do, I don't know why I'm not getting this data coming, here it comes, is because they need people to get out of the way of the water. We're all going to get some wind, right? I don't think the wind's going to be terrible. Well, especially east of I-75, but there will be damaging winds in the area for most of us, especially along and west of I-75, okay? 60, 70, 80, as I mentioned, with the gusts maybe up near 100. But look at this area here, West Shore. That's West Shore Boulevard. Almost 5 foot of water over top of that. All right, and the best time for this would likely be early on Thursday morning. So this whole area, look at Davis Islands. Most of Davis Islands is going to have water over it. Harbor Island, pretty similar. Then you get over towards the port. Guys, if something like this happens, that's not good for the environment. Not going to be a pretty picture there. All right, let's move down a little bit. I'm losing some data. I want to get down towards Apollo Beach. Data's going to fill in here. Apollo Beach, we're looking about 3 to 4 foot surge. I think the last time I looked at it. I'll wait to get some data in here. I wonder why this is taking forever. There we go. So we'll kind of zoom in here. Yeah, that's about 2 to 4 foot for many of those areas. That's saying 3 right there. So possible 3 foot in the Apollo Beach area. You get down to Ruskin, and west of 41, wait till the data comes back in here. West of 41 is where we expect most of the storm surge flooding to occur. The out on 75, I think for the most part that's going to stay okay. I'm not so concerned about that. But if you're west of 41, come on, give me some data here. West of 41 is where we're going to see the best chance for the highest surge. I wonder why this thing is not giving me. Here it comes. Here it comes. Come on, help us out. Help us out. So here you go in the Ruskin area. It's kind of like along the river there, Snell Point Road, right? That's where we're seeing this come over 41. So 41 could have some issues in there. We need to watch that. All right, now let's come further down. Terracea, these areas here are going to see, of course, west of 41 again, the flooding down in there, and that's about 2 to 4 foot. Now, let's go out to the beaches of Pinellas County. So you're getting in the St. Pete Beach area. This area is anywhere from about 2 to 4 foot, maybe 1 to 4 foot. It will be the range. Now, all of this will change according to the track of the storm. So we're hoping that this is going to change for the better. Treasure Island, anywhere. This is only showing about 2.5 foot, right? But I'd say 1 to 3 in that particular area. In fact, many of these areas are 2 to 4 or 1 to 3, from especially Reddington Shores southward. Reddington Shores is about 3 foot. Okay, Feather Sound. Yeah, you better bet there's going to be some water there. Look at these areas for shore acres. I mean, that's we know it floods there a lot, but there's some numbers going 4, 5, 6 feet in that area. All right, so now let me come back up. Now, when you get up towards Clearwater, it's not terrible on the beach, even on the beach in Clearwater. And you can see there's not a whole lot popping here just because it's a little bit higher ground there more than anything else. All right, so if you're in Pinellas County and you're not in an A, B, or C evacuation zone, you can see there's plenty. I mean, look at Dunedin, right? Look at mainland Clearwater, all the way down to Bel Air, Largo. You guys, that's not a storm surge threat for you. You're kind of on higher ground there. Even most of Safety Harbor actually looks pretty decent until you get down towards Felipe Park, of course, is going to have some issues. Tarpon Springs, let's go up to the north just a little bit. Kind of the normal spots that you would expect along the river there, flooding. We're looking at about 2 to 4 in those areas. And then I'm going to finish up here in western Pasco County. See US 19, it's mainly west of there. And it depends on exactly where you are, but that's about a good 2 to 4. There'll be some spots that could see more than that. All right, so one thing I want to show you, because I don't want to get stuck on this because this could change. This is the look right now, and let's just go up here to the northern part of the bay in the Oldsmar area. This is the latest forecast. I'm going to go back to a forecast from earlier today. Nope, it took me all the way back out. Okay, so the difference, in fact, from earlier this morning, it wasn't even looking that bad. And then as the day wore on, I mean, look at this one. This one was worse, right? That was looking like it's going to fill in here. But this Oldsmar area, all the way up towards Brooker Creek, up to Line Ball almost, although some areas may still see it there. Oh, guys, I got to come off this. The data is just not coming in very quickly here. Okay, let me get you back out to the computer here. Let's go with what we're talking about for modeling. Let me kind of explain what's going on here. There is a trough sitting way up here. You see this over the northeast? That would try and pick up the storm and take it up with it. That's what happened with Fiona. Fiona had a trough go by to the north, it picked it up, took it out to sea. That does not look like that's going to happen. It misses the trough as it's coming north, and then it runs into a big roadblock. That is a high pressure. It's a big roadblock. This was trying to come up and out and join that, but it didn't. It didn't have enough time, so it can't go into this. So what happens is as it's coming up, it slows and slows and waits for this to get out of the way. Watch this move to the east, and then it goes around the back side of it. At least tries to, right? That's the steering that we're looking at now. Look at the forecast models coming east. This is a good trend for the Tampa Bay area. It's a little bit worse trend for Manatee and Sarasota County. The UK Met keeps coming further south and east, right? In fact, the UK Met's been doing something similar to this for a while. It may end up being one of the ones that gets it right. But the latest consensus model is way out here. This orange line, that's actually bringing it in towards Manatee County. And that would be really close to blowing water out of Tampa Bay, depending on the shape and size of it at that particular point. These models have come, they were over here earlier. They're now sitting a little bit more to the east. So this is trending east. It'll be interesting to see what the Hurricane Center does later tonight. GFS ensembles. See that white line in the middle? That's kind of the consensus, right? Hugging right near the coast, right near Tampa. Same thing with the European. They're actually in pretty good agreement. The European's starting to come more to the right. The European could suggest Manatee, Sarasota County as well, right? And it wouldn't take much for the Hurricane Center to move that. There's the European model, and that's very close to it as well. You can see it's just right along the coast. Watch, it slows it. It does weaken it. That's the best part. It weakens it as it's moving north, but it does keep it here for some time. Now, what you're looking at here is a graphic telling you the onset of the times that the wind gets here, right? So this is when think the most likely time that tropical storm force winds will arrive. And you can see this 8 a.m. Wednesday line is up here through the Bay Area. We think it'll be a little bit closer to sunrise, right? 7 a.m.-ish, somewhere. It could be a little bit earlier than that. But the probability of us getting tropical storm force winds, which is only 40 miles per hour, very, very high. I would certainly expect that right along the coast. Here's what the Hurricane Center shows looks like. The yellow is the tropical storm force winds. That's 6 a.m. Wednesday. The orange is what you would get a severe thunderstorm warning for, 60 mile per hour winds or so. And that will move in during the afternoon, early on Wednesday. And then the red, you're going to watch the red here kind of disappear. That's part of the product. The winds will be coming down a little bit, but we will get a decent chance for hurricane force winds right here along the immediate coast, wherever this goes. I mean, this center is coming right here. They're going to move this, I think, further off towards the right here. And you can see they've got it now trying to come in Pasco, Hernando. But I think, again, that might come further to the east. We'll see what happens at 11 o'clock. All right, so model runs, for what it's worth, this is the GFS. I'll show you the Euro as well, too. That's the Euro, actually, right along the immediate coast is coming off a little bit. Which one is this one? This is the Euro, yes. But these are sustained winds that you're looking at. Thursday morning, afternoon, 40, 50 mile per hour sustained winds near the coast. Look at Orlando. Look at Sebring. I mean, the wind is not going to be terrible for inland locations. It will be producing some damage, of course. But you see the color shading here? Look right there for Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough, that I-75 corridor and west. You see how that purple is there? That's where the highest winds are going to be if the center comes in right there. And this doesn't even bring the center in. It keeps it offshore, right? Takes it to the north. Now let's take a look at the GFS forecast. Very, very similar. GFS has higher winds, sustained in the 60s. Look where the GFS now has the eye coming on. That's right over AMI, right over the mouth of the bay, right? And then takes it up to the north. It literally comes here and then drags the eye due north and then kind of goes north-northwest. It's wobbling in this thing as it gets in here. So that's where we're looking at right now as far as the wind goes. I can show you this forecast model. This is another model we have. In fact, watch where this one does. And you're going to have to pay attention at the very bottom of the screen. Look where the center is on this. This is our model we run here at the station. It's got landfall down here near Venice. It's got hard northeast winds blowing offshore, gusting to near 80 miles per hour. Guys, this is like Irma, when Irma went up over Lakeland and we had winds similar blowing the water out of the bay. Remember when Irma, when the water went out and you could walk across parts of the bay? If this eye goes to the south, we could do that again. So there's a bunch of evacuations in this area now because we think it's coming in here according to the Hurricane Center forecast. If that changes, it's going to change the water situation there, the storm surge situation. And hopefully it'll change it for better. And in fact, this area here along the immediate coast can handle that a little bit better than the northern part of the bay. But look at this. I mean, imagine this. Early Thursday morning, we've got this thing moving across southern Polk County. So a lot of people, I'm not saying this is a Charlie, but a lot of people will leave here and go to Orlando, and this model says it comes in down south and goes right near Orlando, which is exactly what Charlie did. Forecast models as far as what the numbers look like, you can see clearly the GFS has got much higher winds, trying to get them upwards of 100 miles per hour for these gusts. And the other models are a little bit less than that. Still have to just wait and see, guys. That's it. That's where we're sitting at with it right now. So try and get some questions for you, what you're looking at here. Let me get you back here. What are we talking about here? Good evening, Bobby. Watching from East Coast of Florida, Brevard County. What's up, Steph? How are you? Hope you're doing good out there. People sending prayers, always like that. All right, guys. I'm going to get back to tracking this thing here for you. We're going to wait. The next update is at 11. We'll get that around 10:50, 10:55 or so. But that will be a track update. Very welcome, Patricia. Hope you're doing well out there. That'll be a track update. That'll be a wind update. Like, what's the status, whether the wind's at that particular point. And that will be an interesting one because it'll be really interesting to see where the Hurricane Center is going to go with this and watching the trends on the models. All right, guys, don't forget all of the 10 Tampa Bay streaming sites that we have. Get the 10 Tampa Bay app. It's absolutely free. You get push alerts. You get everything you need on there. When the power goes out, you can stream our broadcast from